Welcome to Connecting the Dots, a non-traditional legal program with your host and trusted advisor, Liz Myska, your guide through the web of life's dilemmas.
Welcome to another edition of Connecting the Dots. I'm your host, Liz Myska. And today I have a new friend to introduce to my audience. I'm going to let him introduce himself because I will butcher his name, and I do not want to do that. So, guest, will you introduce yourself?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me for this wonderful show, and great to be with you, Les. My name is Ayam Saeed, and actually, I am from Iraq. I came to the United States since 2013.
And I know the funny story about you and I encountering one another is another blind person that now we both know encountered you, I believe, on the paratransit, our transportation here in Worcester. And as soon as she heard your cane,
Correct.
She knew that you were a VIP, a visually impaired person, and she connected you with me, which we've only had a couple of encounters, but this has just been extraordinary. And I know you've told me a little bit about your story, but I know that my audience would be very interested. I know that you mentioned you come from Iraq, but how did you get to the United States, and how did you learn English?
That's a good question, actually. I came from Iraq. My dad was a big officer in the army, and when the invasion happened to Iraq within the United States, that just threatened my dad because we used to work with U.S. forces in Iraq. And we just decided to move to Syria. I spent another 9 years of my life in Syria with my family, and we just came to the United States since 2013. So this is the first part. The second part, how do I learn English? Because English is such an awesome language, and it could help you around the world. So I decided when I came to this country to do everything that I could to learn it. So I listened to radio, I listened to people, how they talk, I watch TV, I listen to the radio, I do everything that I can, and using Google Translate app just to go and learn new words one by one, and just use it in my everyday of life. So that's the way how to get here. And also I at that time when I came to this country, I was speaking zero at that time, but now should I be okay, I guess?
Yes, I think you're definitely okay because you're an interpreter. So I think you're definitely okay. But I want to also ask you. You had just intimated to me that you were not sight impaired when before you came to the United States.
Correct.
So you've also, in addition to having to learn English, you've had to learn blindness skills, and I'm wondering how that journey has been for you.
So when I came to the United States first, I wouldn't have any problems. I didn't have any problems with my sight. I was okay. I'll be able to read, write, and stuff like that. And I went to school here as well. But unfortunately, over the last couple of years, we're talking about 2019, at the end of 2019 when COVID hits, 2020, actually things gone downhill. That I started losing more vision. I was starting to seeing difficulty seeing, and also I searched to a lot of doctors, and because I went to a doctor's before, a hospital in Boston, but they didn't give me the right treatment, and they say there's nothing we could see because my eyes a little complicated than the other eyes because I had a cataract removed when I was a kid. And I decided not to go to this facility again. I just decided to go to a different facility in Boston again, Mass. And then when I went there, they just diagnosed me with a retinal detachment, and that was actually a big shock in my life. And I have gone through the grief, as we say, that I slept a lot, I felt depressed, and all that. And I just decided one day, let me wake up, let me do something, and let me be different. And that's how I started to involve more in work and involved more with people, and I guess doing this so much connections, and I already had work at that time, but I just back up a little bit into it. But now I just back on the show again.
Yeah, I was going to say, my audience hasn't heard all the things that you do, but But I just want to comment on, I think that that's very common when something catastrophic happens to us as human beings. We naturally, retreat, and we say, or we're defiant. And you mentioned the word grieve. We say we don't, this can't be possibly happening to us. What did I do to deserve this? How do I, and everybody is full of advice. But the bottom line is that you had to pull yourself out of that funk, and you did in extraordinary fashion. So I want to start with, I know you are a case manager at Friendly House.
Correct.
So tell me how you fell into that, literally.
Yeah, I'll tell a little bit how I got to that social work. Actually, it's a big story, but I won't be able to probably say it all. But I had an event in Virginia change my life. So when I came to the United States, I just came to Virginia first. And then there's an event, it changed my life forever. And since that event, I see, I saw, in other words, how things difficult in America, and I saw there's people taken advantage of, and I saw that a lot of people, they need help, and I was one of them, by the way. So when I came to Massachusetts after 1 year and a half spent in Virginia, I just see, I have seen a lot of people there needing help. They have difficulty in their lives, and they just they don't speak English. For example, I'm serving my Arab community here in Massachusetts through case management and interpretation. So I have been volunteering with these communities since 2014, just to help them. I spent 3 years of my life helping them for free, and I'm grateful for that. So I just learned a lot from them. I went to different people. I had a lot of connections because of that, because of this volunteer work that I did. For example, people that want to go to UMass Memorial, people having a problem with the police, people have a problem with the medical doctors, people have problems they need in attorneys. So that's why I had to get the connections. I had to talk to these people. I have to advocate for this community, and that's why how I get to that field. So actually, I wouldn't know that I'm gonna be in this field one day in my life, but it just happens, and I'm so grateful for that as well, because it taught me a lot. And now I just went and studied, and I become a medical and legal interpreter for the United States government as well, and also for the hospitals. And I've been certified from Boston, Mass. So I'm also so happy about it. I learned, as I said, a lot of English. I tried to learn as fast as I could. And also what happened is that, through my interpretation and through my working with agencies, I'm trying to develop my job and to work with more people. So one day when I with my family, when COVID hits, there's a lot of families, they didn't have food, and they were infected with COVID. We didn't hesitate, my family and I, my mom and I. We just took the car, and I used to work in agency here for home health aid in Worcester. And through that agency, they just send us to say, hey, there's a family of your client in needs food, but they're infected with COVID. So we never hesitated any moment. We just went down to 16 Greenwood Street, which is the food boundary there, and we're just asking for food for this family. And then another family called and said, please, can you help us? And that manager of the facility that was affiliated in somehow with a Friendly House, her name is Allison. She said, hey, listen, you're doing a lot of food deliveries. What are you? And I said, okay, I'm just helping. And she saw I'm speaking Arabic versus English. She said, hey, we need you to come here because we want people to get more help. We want to reach out to one more community. So would you be able to do that? Are you interested to becoming an interpreter? I said, yeah, definitely. And then that started since almost 2020 as well. So I said, yeah, that's fine. And we just started in there. I was started with Allison in the same facility for 2 years and a half. And finally, I moved up to the main office of Friendly House on 36 Wall Street, which is, I'm so grateful for that. The facility itself and Friendly House itself, they have a great people who works there, and also it's a great organization. I see they given a lot of help for a lot of people. I see how they just, doing everything they can to serve their community, and I am so happy because I'm part of Friendly House as well.
Wow. I'm just reflecting back that all of this has happened. It coincides with your vision loss, but that's not the basis of what you're doing and how you're expanding your own horizons, and things are happening for and with you because I think of your attitude, because of your unquenchable thirst to learn more and help more.
Absolutely.
And again, you can look back and you say, how did I get here? But I think that's another thing about being visually impaired. We can't see behind us, and actually none of us can see behind us, but we can't dwell on where we were, but where we are now and where we're going, right?
Correct. Yeah, because to be also to losing your sight, I never imagined myself like I losing my sight one day. But when I lost my sight, it was bad and good. And I think it's the good of it. It's more than the bad of it. So it's taught me a lot. Like for example, when I was sighted, I would just like taking the car, not taking the car, but go with my friends and just leaving around and do the stuff that I want to, and listen to music, doing parties. I used to be a DJ, by the way. Just go there, do parties, do music for people, and just like getting paid, and just like leave at nights and all that. But when I lost vision, because I didn't need all of that, I was just like, my life has changed. The way I live it has changed. So I focused more on myself. I see how other people live, and how can I do, or what I can do to improve the lives of others as I want my life to be improved. So that's why I am, grateful for that. And the last job, I'm because as I said, I've just gotten up and up. And hopefully, I'm getting a job as an interpreter at the federal level, and hopefully, I'm going to become also a federal employee soon. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but that was the goal right now, just to serve this country. The United States is a great country. I so much respect the services and what the government is doing for people. It's kind of help because there's not available in the Middle East. I can't tell because I used to live in the Middle East. I used to live in Iraq. I used to live in Syria. They're great people, but unfortunately, just the services there is not really that good. And, the people, they don't have the equal opportunity we have in the United States. So I think I just want to send a message out of this show that's for the people who come, whatever you are, as a refugee or an immigrant or whatever you come to the United States, you have the opportunity to do whatever you could to be maybe a millionaire. You have the opportunity to be an important person in the government. You have an opportunity to have a lot of money. You have an opportunity to get a good job. So just work on yourself, and hopefully things will go towards you. That was my message, actually.
Well, you know what? You're reminding me that again, I was sighted, and I was in midlife when I lost my sight or started losing my sight, and the things that you mentioned about that independence, which America is known for, that independence of just being able to jump in a car and go where you want to go, and say, I'm gonna spend a little time here, and then I'm gonna go there. Well, when that's taken away from you, I'll say it that way. I mean, nobody takes it away from you, but as your sight dwindles, you're not going to be able to drive a car.
Freedom.
You lose the freedom, and then you become more aware of how fortunate you are. And I think that's in your story. You were fortunate when you were living in Iraq. To a certain degree, you said your dad was in the military before. Correct. I'm sure before there was any conflict, you probably had a very good life, I would imagine. I
was a kid, so
exactly right. And when you're a kid, you're not paying attention to that stuff. It's all about me. But what I hear in your story, Ayam, is you internalized, you looked at yourself, but then now you're other directed. You're like, I took care of myself. I did some self-care. I did some
Exactly.
self-evaluation. Now I can shine the light outward and see who else needs help. See who out there that I can gather in to bring in and have them have that aha moment when they realize I could be this too. I could be Ayam.
Yes.
I could do this. And I think that as a role model, as a refugee, but also as a blind person, because there aren't that many of us that are role models,
Right.
because we do things differently than sighted people.
Just the life, the life is just changing when you, like, for example, before I lose my sight, I used to work with multiple legal attorneys. So I'm helping people with their interpretation and the things they need to have it done. And when I lost vision, I just say, hey, wait a moment, how am I going to do this?
Right.
Like, how am I going to do this? So, and I just like, wait a moment. Like, I didn't know even how to use the phone, and I didn't know how to do this and that. And then I just decided, like, without I say I cannot do this, let me say how to do this.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I just went back and I said, okay, and I connected with these agencies in Massachusetts, and the state agencies who help in the visually impaired people. And this is, I guess, I'm one of you right now, so I need help, so please come and help me. And, I've been asking about this and that, and it was a great journey. I think in my aspects life, it's just like an exam, and they could give you a different questionnaires like you must answer. And in our life, like in our actions, it's not a questionnaire, but it's actually choices, which they give you. Say, so okay, I'm gonna take the vision out of you, but I'm gonna give you this. Let me see, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be satisfied? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna destroy yourself? Are you gonna be shining again? What are you gonna do? What is next plan? So, and just in my opinion, whatever life throws at you, just say, okay, I'll either avoid it, or I'll just say I'll convert it and just say,
exactly.
all right, I will figure out how to deal with it.
Right.
That was the only thing that I just learned so far. Say there's nothing impossible and nothing is unreachable. Everything you can reach, everything you could have, unless if you work towards it.
Yes.
But otherwise, you just don't just.
It doesn't come. It just doesn't. It's not given to you. Or if it's given to
Right.
you,
Don't sleep.
you don't care. It's kind of like right. Well, you said two words that I want to pick up upon. You said confronted, and that's how I feel. I'm always impressed by people who don't shy away from adversity. They're
Right.
like, okay, I gotta stand, and then I gotta figure it out.
Yes. I agree.
I gotta figure it out. I just can't say wah wah wah. Woe is me. I'm always impressed by people that confront it. And again, we all, whether we're sighted or non-sighted, whether we have physical mobility issues, cognitive issues, we're all fearful of what's going to happen to us. Like what's next. And again, you've told your story about, you didn't care about what was happening next. You were focused on what could you do now? How could you improve yourself? And then by improving yourself, improving the lives of others. I want to ask you, what one person or what group of people that you can give me as an example of something that you're extremely proud of? I'm giving you the exam question that you
Try and figure that out. Okay, go ahead.
So can you give me one example? I mean, you gave me the example of during COVID helping people get food, but is there one particular person that stands out, or family that stands out that?
Yes, I could tell you that very easily.
Okay.
It's my mom. Without my mom, I couldn't be here in the United States. Without my mom, I couldn't be here now with you. Without my mom, she's the door for me for life, because she's helped me and my brothers and sisters all, but she helped me a lot. So she's a great mom that I can tell you. I am so proud because she is my mom, because she's a great person. She was taking care of my brother. He's disabled, guy for 33 years, and she never stopped doing that. She would just give him a care, even she was in Iraq. There's no services, there's no PCA to pay her, there's nothing. She was taking care of him until now. So that was something, it's always inspired me. And, I would just look at her and say, oh, you are the greatest person that I could ever see in my life. Because how she sacrifices her life, how she's did everything she could to bring us here. Again, without her, I couldn't be here with you today. So I'm so grateful for her.
Wow.
She is.
She's a great role model for you then.
Yes,
great role model for you.
Yeah. So
wow.
My mom, she's one of the best people that I know in my life. She's the best.
And I had the privilege of meeting her out on the sidewalk.
Yeah, exactly. Before we just came in, exactly. Yeah.
If you wanted to, because your mom will probably see this, if you want to give your mom a message, do you want to do it in Arabic?
Probably your audience won't understand that, but
that's okay. She will understand it. We'll do this dedication to her.
I would just say shukran, mom. That means thank you, mom, for all the things that has been done, for me and my family, and all the things that you stand, all the things that you did stands for us, and thank you very much for all the things you have done so far for us. So shukran.
Wow.
Shukran means thank you in Arabic.
Shukran?
Shukran.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm not very good at languages, but keep trying.
Yes. Okay. We'll give you more language, hopefully.
Keep trying.
So it's a good thing. So that was, the thing is, like, with my mom and my family, just like as I said, she just like had a lot going on. She fights to bring us here, and she's helping in the car because actually I cannot drive. So she helped in the car. She's driving around. She was giving the half of the help that I do is because of her, right. And also the other half that I do is because of the community and the people, because it's important for me when I just do something and I see how people how people is happy. And it just makes me satisfied from the inside of me. It's like in the bottom of my heart. I said, okay, I'm so proud because, I seen like people changing their lives because of me.
Right.
So, and I saw a lot of people that are just telling me this, but I don't know if that was true or not, but you can tell me. They're saying I have a great impact onto lives of others directly, which is I said, oh, okay, I'm not sure if that was the case. But, I'm so happy when I see someone, he has a problem and his problems get resolved. And it just so much good. It's just awesome. It's awesome feel like when you feel like hey, like Liz, she needs my help. Like when I go and help Liz, like for example, and Liz, you feel happy. Oh, thanks. And I would feel, oh, let's go. That was the goal.
Well, you did that. From the very first time I met you a couple weeks ago, you're like, how can I get you involved in things that I'm doing? And I love that spirit, because so often people are like, oh, I just want to stick my toe in the water, and I don't want to have anything to do with anybody else. I want to sample it and see if it's for me, and if it's not for me, then I'm retreating. But you have that kind of that excited.
I was always challenging. I was always challenging myself.
Yes.
And I said, okay, if I stand here now, I want to move further.
Yes.
I'm not staying in the same location forever now. I'm just going and going and going and going, and always I don't feel satisfied. So I want more. So that's why actually I'm getting more involved with things.
And you'll learn as your life progresses, that you're constantly learning. You never know it all, and you're always rubbing elbows with different people who aren't like you, and keep that curiosity of how can they help me? How can I help them? Because you're giving pieces of yourself, and they're giving pieces of themselves, and you're making a new puzzle. And I think that's another thing that when you were speaking, I was thinking, this is a puzzle, and it's not like a puzzle in a box, and you just finish it. It's constantly, you're adding pieces to it all the time.
So as I was like telling you, like there's like actually it's an event in Virginia that happens changing my life, but it's actually also there's a lady I just be introduced to her. She used to be a volunteer. Her name is Evelyn Montana, and she was a volunteer at the church or the organization who was responsible about our case when we came into the country.
Sponsored.
Yeah, sponsors. Yeah. So she was awesome. She was like elderly, like she was like her 60s, I guess, and she was taking me. She was like bringing me to McDonald's. Hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Let me take your family to shop. And I was seeing her. I wanted to do something like her, and I couldn't because I was just 18 when I came in. So, and I remembered. I just remembered, and she always she just gave me this advice, and I won't forget it in time in my life. And she just told me, do not forget that as I helped you, you must help someone else.
Yes.
And I said, sure, I will do it. And now, actually, I'm just to be proud. I don't know if she's going to see this or not, but because of you, that Miss Evelyn, that I am helping more families and actually dozens of families that we're involved with, and we're going to continue helping. We're so proud to do that, and we're so happy to continue it. So. Are you
still in contact with her or no?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
From time to time. I texted her. She never forget about my birthday. She's always send me a card by mail, and she's always she's remembered me in my family. So I'm so grateful because I met her. She probably could be one of the people who changed my life as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, our time is growing short. And you mentioned your birthday. I want to ask you, what month is your birthday?
I was born on November 2nd.
Oh, okay, all right. So you're a Scorpio? You're a Scorpio, right? Okay, all right, okay.
So I'm not sure what you know about Scorpios, but yes, that was great.
If people seeing this program would like to get in touch with you, or would they get in touch at Friendly House, how could people reach out to you?
They could reach out to me if they want our help for sure through a Friendly House, and I will keep my information there. Even if I left this job for any reason, I'm gonna still give my information to these wonderful people, and they could have it. So anyone who needs my help, it's available.
Okay, and could you just spell your name for everyone so that...
Sure.
Okay.
My first and last name.
Yeah, your first and last name. Please
absolutely.
Spell it.
So my first name is spelled, it's pronounced Ayam. So it's Ayham as in Mary, and then my last name is Saeed, Saeed. So if ever you need help from me or anything you're looking for, just reach out to Friendly House Incorporated at 36 Wall Street, and just ask to speak to him, case manager, and hopefully I'm going to be able to help.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Join me for another edition of Connecting the Dots.
Please note that the information provided in this show is not a substitute for consulting with an experienced local attorney and receiving counsel based on the facts and circumstances of a particular transaction. To contact Lizbeth, email her at lisbeth@elizabethlmyska.com or call her office at 508-753-7681. We're online at connectingthedots.lawyer. Executive producers, Lizbeth Myska and Jack Peacock. Producers, John Medberry and Bill Hamilton. A production of Elizabeth L. Myska, J.D., LLM, in association with Compliments.